Good evening, I'm Ces Orenia Drilon.
I'm Pauline Verzosa.
And I'm Sean Yao.
The big stories tonight. One senator sees the mass resignation of top officials and the subsequent snap election as a way to restore public trust in political institutions. But this early, the idea is being outrightly dismissed as wishful thinking and as a formula for chaos.
And here's one who did resign. Senator Ping Lacson has quit as chairman of the powerful Blue Ribbon Committee amid what he calls as, quote, noise from highly partisan political persuasions.
And the Justice Chief is one of the 7 shortlisted as ombudsman. Senator Amy Marcos believes that it is in the bag for Secretary Boying Remulla, who for her is the worst candidate for the post.
Ito panawagan para sa snap elections, medyo tone deaf. Ang panawagan ng accountability, panagutin yung mga nagnakaw.
Cannot be an option. It's very far-fetched as far as I'm concerned. It's we will be entering something like uncertainty and chaos in the political world.
But first, we go to breaking news at this hour. The Pingatan Bridge in Alcala, Cagayan has collapsed. And to give us updates is Alcala Town Mayor Tin Antonio. Good evening, Mayor.
Good evening, Mrs. Good evening to all our viewers.
Mayor, tell us what happened.
At around 4:30 this afternoon, very unfortunately, our Pingatan Bridge, which is maintained by the DPWH, along the Maharlika National Highway collapsed. Ostensibly, the collapse was due to the passing by of 2 big trucks and 2 6-wheelers at the same time. But as looking at the site and as local chief executive, I have some questions which I hope would be answered upon the investigation that will be taken up later. This is an old bridge, he says. It is 45 years old. And so it is nearing the lifespan of permanent bridges, which is 50 years old. And secondly, although there is a sign that says the capacity is 18 tons, this road and this bridge is the only national highway traversing this part of Cagayan. And so there is no other choice except for trucks and big vehicles to pass by this bridge. And so ang tanong ko, kung ang gamit ng mga trucks dito ay talagang pangmalalakihan, this is the national highway, bakit 18 tons lang ang bridge na ito? So those are questions that I hope would be answered.
Mayor, this is a repeat of what happened in Isabela, although that was a newer bridge.
Yes, I believe so. And that is why we really must look into this problem, because it's not just a matter of monitoring the capacity of bridges, but what is the alternative for the vehicles? Saan sila dadaan? This is the only national highway in this part of the province, connecting Cagayan to Ilocos and to Isabela. So these are questions that must be looked into. Alangan naman na every bridge ay i-monitor kung ilang mga vehicles ang dadaan.
Right. So what would be the impact to the economy, to trade?
At this point, we are looking into the alternative routes. The governor is here on site. I am as well here on site. And we are working on an alternative route for light vehicles. Fortunately, there is a circumferential road for light vehicles. But for heavy vehicles, there's going to be a longer route. So the impact on the economy will be really negative, because it will hamper mobility, goods and services. And of course, as local chief executive of Alcala, the alternative route is a barangay road. So talagang mahirap for us to really maintain lalo na kung dadaanan ng maraming mga sasakyan na dapat ay traffic for the national highway.
Mayor Tin, before this accident happened, no, ano ba yung kalakaran dyan before trucks enter the bridge? Because dun sa Isabela, Cabagan Bridge, ang nagyari is super overloaded yung truck na dumaan. Ganun din ba yung case? Is it too early and you don't have enough information? Or does someone stay at either end of the bridge to kind of weigh the trucks? Kasi sometimes that's what you see. Diba? Iniisa-isa, someone manages the traffic flow.
That should be the case by the DPWH because it is a bridge maintained by the DPWH says. But we need more answers which we don't have right now.
Is the regional director of the DPWH or the district engineer there on site?
I'm sorry, Seth.
Meron bang mga tauhan po ng DPWH dyan ngayon? You said the governor's there, you're
Yes.
there. Where is
Yes,
DPWH?
they arrived as well. Yes, the DPWH Assistant Regional Director is here, I think. And the PNP, our Governor, Gov. Egay Aglipay, we are all here to assess the situation and to provide short-term solutions and hopefully to look into long-term solutions.
Just to confirm again, Mayor, wala naman pong casualties from this accident, and how many are injured, if ever? Because there were several 10-wheeler trucks that were passing by when this accident happened. And what kind of assistance po will be given to them?
There were 2 people who were injured, but thankfully no casualties, Seth. And we extended the help. We rushed them to the nearest hospital.
And Mayor, finally, what is the explanation of the DPWH to you?
We haven't had the chance to speak because they just arrived this evening, and in a minute or two, I will ask them for their explanation.
All right, we will await the update from your end. Thank you very much for talking to us, Mayor Tin Antonio of Alcala in Cagayan. And now on to our top story. Many outrightly dismiss Senator Alan Peter Cayetano's suggestion of mass resignation among top officials and snap elections afterwards. But his brother Lino Cayetano welcomes the senator's idea only if he takes the lead and steps down first. Mobile journalist Merimon Reyes with a report.
From the President and Vice President down to members of both chambers of Congress, Senate Minority Leader Alan Peter Cayetano wants them all to resign so a snap elections can be held immediately. He also wants everyone barred from running in the next election cycles. The objective, to bring back public trust in government institutions amid allegations of corruption in infrastructure projects. As Cayetano puts it, there should be no drama, no excuses, no recycling, just a clean slate for the Filipino people. Cayetano's idea is about starting over, saying real change can only come from radical honesty and knowing when to step aside. The snap elections, though, was nowhere in the slogans uttered during the rallies on September 21, when thousands marched against massive robbery in national coffers and taxpayers' money. Accountability is also what Senate President Tito Sotto wants from all the investigations, particularly into anomalous flood control projects.
Cannot be an option. What do you do with those who are not guilty? What do you do with those who are newly elected and have no bad records? Idadamay mo doon sa mga guilty or sa mukhang guilty kung hindi man guilty. Kung meron bang marumi, ba't natin idadamay yung mga malinis doon sa marumi? We will be entering something like uncertainty and chaos in the political world.
Soto also believes public faith in the state can only be restored if there is transparency in the use of government funds, clarity in the direction and output of current investigations, and straightforward results from courts of law.
Everything will be done through the eyes or within the purview of the people. No? Hopefully the ICI can open to the public its deliberations. And the most important of all is that the judiciary act well. Palagay ko doon pag nakita ng mga tao na gano'n ang nangyayari, malinaw ang paggamit ng pera nila. Di ba? Malinaw ang investigasyon. Malinaw din ang resulta ng judiciary. What more can you ask for?
Senate President Pro Tempore Ping Lacson seconded this, adding, quote, "In fact, election campaigns actually add to more corruption. For a change, how about certainty of punishment of corrupt politicians? The higher, the better." And while he is open to the idea of a snap election, Senator Erwin Tulfo is asking if such is possible at this time and if there is a law or even funds to back the process. If it comes to pass, the lawmaker wants local officials down to councilors to resign as well. For Senator Cayetano's estranged brother, Lino, his sibling's proposal is a good idea if he takes the lead. In a lengthy Facebook post, the former Taguig mayor and congressman said, quote, "The Senate will function without the Cayetanos, while Taguig has a very capable vice mayor." Lino added, quote, "I will support further that no Cayetanos should run in 2028. Lahat tayo." Meantime, for COMELEC, snap elections are impossible at this point. Under the 1987 Constitution, all elected officials of government have a fixed tenure of office.
Sa akin lagay, mukhang wala namang pong batas pwedeng maipasa upang mapag-resign yung lahat.
The Philippines last witnessed snap elections way back February of 1986 between the late dictator Ferdinand Marcos Sr. and Cory Aquino.
Dapat po natin isipin na yung panahon yun ay iba po kasi ang sitwasyon at iba rin ang legal regime ng mga panahon na yon.
His father's namesake and now President Bongbong Marcos says he has no time for politics. At the lower house, reactions were swift.
Ang panawagan ng taong bayan ay accountability, panagutin yung mga nagnakaw sa kaban ng bayan. Hindi eleksyon ang sagot dito. Baka nga dahil sa snap election na proposal, baka maka-evade pa ng accountability yung mga dapat panagutin.
Bakit natin gagawin yon? Kita nyo naman dito sa Kongreso, tuloy-tuloy ang trabaho ng lahat ng mga mambabatas. At malapit na rin natin matatapos ang budget season. Kaya wala kami nakikitang dahilan kung bakit natin gagawin yan.
If it were up to Minority Leader Nonoy Libanan, snap elections is not the answer.
Ito na siguro yung tamang panahon para tumawag tayo ng Constitutional Convention or Constituent Assembly para baguhin ang ating konstitusyon dahil nakikita po natin may mga bagay na kailangan baguhin. At kung hindi lang ito eleksyon, pero kasama nandito ang genuine electoral reform na kinakailangan ng ating bansa, mag-reboot na tayo.
Senate President Pro Tempore Panfilo Lacson has formally resigned as chairman of the Senate's Blue Ribbon Committee. In a letter to Senate President Tito Soto, which One News got a hold of first, Lacson reiterated his earlier statement that he is stepping aside because of alleged dissatisfaction among his fellow senators. That's on the direction of the Blue Ribbon's investigation into the flood control controversy. Lacson also denied allegations that he singled out senators linked to the mess while sparing members of the House of Representatives. Lacson said this narrative came from those who are actually opposed to getting to the bottom of the scandal. Lacson reiterated that he conducted the committee hearings based on evidence and with no political considerations. Meanwhile, Senate President Tito Soto, in a press conference earlier today, echoed Lacson's frustration on the matter.
Senator Lacson is frustrated. He's not stressed. Sanay sa stress yun eh. Yeah. Pero ang nakikita niya, frustrated because nag-hearing siya, may umaangal. Bakit nag-hearing? Pag hindi siya nag-hearing, may umaangal. Ba't hindi nag-hearing? Ano ba talaga? Diba? So, and then I think the way he ran the Blue Ribbon Committee hearings were very good. So, siguro, the man is frustrated. I will support whatever decision he makes, and I will accept whatever decision he makes, and he has my 100% support.
Soto also said there are 3 or 4 senators who can replace Lacson as chairman of the Senate's anti-corruption panel. Justice Secretary Boying Remulla, however, hopes Lacson will reconsider his resignation. Remulla considers Lacson as an excellent investigator.
Malungkot tayo dahil is probably one of the best investigators in the country. Kaya impressive ang body of work niya talaga. From the very beginning until now, when he was still like in the PAOK TF and now here, he has a very impressive body of work. It's also a loss if you think about it. Well, malaking tulong kasi ang kanyang ginawang investigation as far as our investigations are concerned here. And it will be missed for sure. We will miss it, yung kanyang skill. Pero I will still seek advice from him about some things that I have to work out later. Sana hindi na niya ituloy yung kanyang pagre-resign sa Blue Ribbon. But that's the business of the Senate. It's an independent body.
Meanwhile, the Catholic Bishops' Conference of the Philippines, or CBCP, has called for vigilance as the investigation on the flood control scandal drags on. The CBCP said, after all that has been revealed in the probe, any move to change Senate leadership or redirect investigations at this point would just heighten suspicions of a cover-up. Hence, they quote, "We strongly oppose any attempt to preempt or derail the investigation through backroom deals, leadership takeovers, or selective justice." The CBCP likewise expressed support for the Independent Commission for Infrastructure, or ICI. It said the ICI must be empowered to investigate fully and freely without any influence from any branch of government. Meantime, CBCP President Cardinal Ambo David invited the Catholic faithful to a national day of prayer and public repentance amid calamities and corruption. This kicks off tomorrow, October 7, Tuesday, coinciding with the Feast of Mary of the Holy Rosary, and will continue until the Feast of Christ the King on November 23.
And weighing in on the latest happenings at the Senate is former Senator Dick Gordon. Good evening to you, Senator.
Good evening, Ms. Lulong. Long time no see.
Welcome to the big story. I'm with Sean and Pauline. Well, you were a former chairman of the powerful Blue Ribbon Committee. I'm sure you're watching with interest how the Blue Ribbon is conducting its probe on the flood scandal. What are your thoughts? How are the probes being done?
Well, they should be a little faster. I think they're onto some good leads. And even as they're onto some good leads, actually some cases can already be filed. I think they have enough evidence, or just a little bit more evidence, and cases can already be filed.
But now we have the resignation of Senator Lacson. Would you have done the same thing if you were, in a situation like this when your colleagues are upset with you because they feel that the investigation is targeting them?
I would never allow my colleagues to influence my decision whatsoever. I'm there. I was appointed there to do a job, and I'll do my job, respective of who's going to get hurt. And I've done that. I mean, why should I be bothered by people who are afraid that they may be included? I mean, you're there to do a job. Do your job in accordance with your oath. So I'm surprised that Ping would even consider that. I'm sure there is some other reason for doing that, especially with all the tribunals going on, all the pending threats to remove again Tito Soto, who I think is doing a good job. There's got to be some stability in the Senate. But obviously, the Senate is divided into pro-Duterte and anti-Duterte.
And do you think this big division, between the majority and the minority, do you think it's influenced the way that this investigation is being run and being conducted, from the change in leadership to the change of the head of the Blue Ribbon Committee? What kind of suggestions would you give the Blue Ribbon Committee chairman, Senator, in hindsight and based on your own experience?
He's got all the tools. Ping has got all the tools. He's a seasoned investigator. He was a policeman for a long, long time. And he should not let these people bother him. What's important is that he does his job irrespective of who these people are. And I think he can do that. Obviously, when you look at the investigation, the way it was being handled previously, there were some questions. When it comes to mentioning Duterte, umiilag na kagad yung nag-iimbestiga nung una. Or for example, some of the witnesses are being protected. It would seem to some people of the some members of the public that there was an attempt to really protect or really get the couple to become witness protection when they're not really qualified to become members of the witness protection program.
But what's different kasi, Senator, it's your peers eh. It's not just any government official here. It's like your co-members, your brethren from your own house. How difficult would that be? Yeah.
They're all public officials. There's no difference. When somebody has done a job, that's why you have the ethics committee that you can that can go after your colleagues and let the cards fall where they may. I used to say that let justice be done, though the heavens may fall. That's the way you should handle it. Otherwise, don't accept it. Once you accept that, you must remember that you have to do what must be done, and you cannot be intimidated. You cannot be cowed, and you must do your job. And I think Ping knows what he's doing. I think gusto lang niya mapakita sa mga tao that there are some people who are trying to influence his judgment, and that's my thinking.
Apart from protecting, like you mentioned earlier, no, and
Like a sacrifice in a sense.
for Tito Sen.
I don't think he will sacrifice himself for the benefit of these people of Beelzebub.
Okay, Senator. Well, one of the issues now being linked to the flood control controversies as well is the matter of insertions or amendments. And now it's being given a negative connotation because it is allegedly the source of corruption in Congress. I mean, during your time, Senator, was that always the case? Masama ba talaga ang insertions?
All Congresses, all parliaments, they have insertions. They have congressmen, members of parliament trying to bring home the bacon. That's why they call it pork barrel. Hindi masama yun. Pwede na lang, if you find out that the money was not spent at all, and they collected even if the job was not done, or it was done improperly, there was malfeasance. But it is perfectly legitimate for a senator or a congressman to pursue projects that will enhance his constituency or his proclivities, for example, for the arts or for whatever it is. That's allowed. Ang masama yung insertion na talagang ghost o talagang hindi, there's no intention to implement it. Otherwise, even when I was running for the Constitutional Convention, I was aghast because there was no pork barrel at the Constitutional Convention. People were telling me, ano yung gagawin mo? Bibigyan mo kayo ng karsada, yung tulay dito, hindi pa napapagawa. And I would say, no, that is not the job of the Constitutional Convention. What more so if you're running for Congress or the Senate?
That was way back 1971. So,
Yes, that's too very long ago.
yeah. well, but Senator, nagkaroon rin kayo ng insertion or siguro tawagin nating amendment because this happened during plenary.
No.
Never?
I tried to stay away from that. I had my pet bills. I would submit it, but I would not lobby. It's beneath my dignity to even lobby for that sort of thing.
Okay, what about during your time? Would people call you government officials from the bureaus, different departments, to say, Sen, baka may ipapasama kayo? Because ngayon lumalabas na sa NEP pa lang nakapasok na, naka-pre-insert na. Did you experience? Wala.
Wala lumalapit sa akin ng araw. Naging masama lang yan talaga. Let's go to the bottom of this. Number one, yung sinabi kong sistema, people will expect you to deliver on your promises or on the needs of the province, or for that matter, nakikickback ka because you want to get re-elected, kailangan may pambili ka ng boto. Yan sisimula yan. Or you get regulatorily captured by going to people who would have money so that they can influence your vote, or they can influence you to influence other people to give them contracts. That's what's wrong with the system. And that happens also in the States, but that doesn't make it right. So it's important that people vote for the right people and that campaign finance reform be implemented. And even so, there are laws against that already. There have been convictions in the past for people who overspent. And ang problema is the COMELEC is very tardy or very slow. They're not aggressive. They don't show their teeth. So a lot of people get away with practically overspending or getting money from people they're not supposed to get money from.
Senator, they may have staved off another coup, but it's still like a sword hanging over the group of Senate President Tito Soto. What do you think are the implications of this very unstable hold on the Senate leadership?
I don't think it will be unstable. It will become unstable only when he's removed. Because who are you going to get? I mean, people keep telling me, dapat andyan ka. I'm not even going to indulge in that. The point is, really, we have a very strange Senate. Talagang sabi nga nila, ibang klaseng Senate ito. But that's the way it is. The people voted for them.
Anong ibig niyong sabihin? Anong klaseng Senate ito?
Well, hindi na yung talagang may formalidad, you know. For example, inalis nila yung, maybe it's to them it's form. Sa akin, you know, people, the Senate should wear barong Tagalog or formal suit para at least there's a semblance of respectability, and at the same time refrain from using, even calling, you know, your first name. Like, I don't want to be called Senator Dick. I would rather be called the gentleman from Zambales or or Senator Gordon. But, you know, the informality makes it a familiar situation, and it brings down the respectability of the Senate. And then when you have people who when they debate, apparently do not research and want to pander to the public, bumababa ang tingin ng tao sa Senado. At makikita mo yung mga antics dyan. I don't have to go through that, but you know what I'm talking about. There are antics that happen in the Senate that shouldn't happen there.
Let's go to the Farmally case, which you investigated and recommended the filing of charges. Pero hanggang ngayon, it's still pending. The case is still pending. The Sandigan Bayan wants to take over, I understand, from the RTC. So parang mabagal ang ikot ng hustisya.
No, the ombudsman filed the cases against, we filed the case, kami ni Liga Antiveros, no? Ako, ang filing ko all the way hanggang sa presidente.
Yes, pero walang nangyari.
Because nga, in-appoint ng presidente yung ombudsman dati, and you know, hindi mo mawawala yung utang na loob. I'm not surprised because a lot of people still consider utang na loob as something that they should do. And that's the way it is. So I'll just wait for the proper time. Now that a new ombudsman is about to be appointed, it doesn't speak very well for us na parang naghihintay ka ng the winds of change will now get a fairer ombudsman. But the point is, the fairer will be judged by the evidence that you present in the case. And I think there's enough evidence to convict all the way to the president. He has hanged himself. Ang tawag namin sa law, admissions against interest. And sabi niya, ako rin, nagnakaw nung araw, naubos ko na or something like that. O, yan kaibigan ko talaga yan. Yan si Michael Yang, investor yan. Yung mga pagdidefensa niya ganyan, yung minumura niya Senado, minumura niya kami. And then he says, ako nag-order na malipat yung pera para magamit yan. Siya ang naglagay nung sila Michael Yang. Siya ang naglagay nung sa mga tao niya, may Davao Mafia na nilagay dyan. And it's very obvious, for example, if you look at the withdrawal of money or the how the money was taken out, you can see na talaga in one day, for example, they get 2 billion, the next day another 1 billion. And in 3 days, they practically got about 6 billion or 7 billion. So talagang hinahayan. Ang tanong, where, you know, when we investigate, where was the AMLA? You know, any untoward withdrawal should be immediately investigated by AMLA. That's what they're there for. They are the sentinels, all right? Or for that matter, may admission na against interest, the NBI, yung mga nakikita natin, yung mga coaching binili nila yan. Where was the BIR? Namili sila ng mga kotse, wala namang gumalaw, di ba? Even now, gano'n rin kala Bryce, dito kala Alcantara, ang gaganda ng kotse, itong mga mag-asawa, nahuhuli palagi ang BIR, mukhang huli ang aksyon. Paano?
So, Senator,
paano tinitignan nila kung sino ang nagpuproteksyon sa mga taong ito?
So,
ngayon,
you will revisit this case pag may bagong ombudsman na?
No, I intend to file the case at the proper time.
Alright.
Makikita ba ako sa ingay? Ang ingay na eh. May ingay na mag-i-eleksyon. Magre-resign lahat. Ingay yan. Mawawala yung focus ng tao doon sa nag-uusapan. you in media must not allow the antics of some politicians to try and remove the spotlight from the focus of the investigation. And what is the focus of the people? Get the bad guys out, get the rascals out, send them to jail, and that's what the focus must be.
We thank you for joining us tonight, former Senator Dick Gordon.
We're just going to take a quick break, but coming up, Secretary Boying Remulla is said to be a shoo-in as next ombudsman, but the Justice Chief believes anything can still happen. We have that story and more when we return. Keep it here on One News.
Welcome back to the big story. The short list for the next ombudsman has been submitted to the Office of the President. And the 7 names sent by the Judicial and Bar Council included Justice Secretary Boying Remulla. The other candidates are Philippine Competition Commission Chairperson Michael Aguinaldo, PhilPost Chairperson Stephen Cruz, Supreme Court Associate Justice Samuel Garlan, Deputy Executive Secretary for Legal Affairs Annalisa Logan, retired Supreme Court Associate Justice Mario Lopez, and Sandigan Bayan 4th Division Chairperson Michael Frederick Musngi. From this list, President Bongbong Marcos will pick the ombudsman, replacing Samuel Martires, who retired last June. The ombudsman has a fixed 7-year term. Remulla is considered as one of the strongest contenders for the post, despite facing opposition from Senator Amy Marcos.
I'll still be reporting for work here for sure. Tomorrow. Kasi marami pa kaming tinatapos. Kaya tingnan natin how it goes. I think the shortlist was submitted already. But that's all I know. Wala pa akong update. It's a work in progress.
Marcos filed administrative and criminal complaints against Remulla with the ombudsman for the arrest of former President Rodrigo Duterte last March. JBC rules would have disqualified Remulla for the said cases. These were, however, dismissed, paving the way for Remulla's ombudsman bid. Remulla's inclusion in the shortlist did not surprise Senator Marcos, who in a statement yesterday claimed Remulla would be named as the next ombudsman today.
Ipipilit nila na si Boying maging ombudsman para ipakulong si VP Inday Sara bago mag-2027 at hindi lang si Inday Sara kundi lahat ng mga Duterte, kaalyado ng mga Duterte, baka pati ako. Yan ay sa gitna ng paghihirap ng mga Pilipinong binabaha ng tubig, ng korupsyon at ng kawalang aksyon. Kung hindi kayo titigil sa pamumulitika, mag-asaran tayo. Hindi ko rin kayo tatantanan.
The Philippine National Police denies rumors of a brewing coup among the ranks to unseat President Bongbong Marcos. Acting PNP Chief Lieutenant General Jose Melencio Nartates says there is no reason to oust the chief executive. The country's top cop believes that there's also no need for a loyalty check at this point. The statement of Nartates comes on the back of Armed Forces Chief of Staff General Romeo Browner's earlier revelation that there were retired officials that attempted to plot an uprising against Marcos. That was on September 21, amid the massive rallies against corruption in government.
And what's the basis? We have a president that is a sitting president who won by majority votes. Siya na mismo ang nagsabi to put a stop of corruption, especially flooding that caused the flooding here in Metro Manila and nearby provinces, and even sa lahat.
Now we have lots of issues to unload tonight with our next guest, political strategist Malu Tikia. Welcome back to the big story, Malu.
Hi, Ses. Good evening. Good evening to Sean and to Pauline.
Right. So, first of all, the resignation of Senator Lacson comes on the heels of Mayor Magalong's resignation from the ICI as well. What do we make of this? Because these two are considered to be, doing a good job of looking into this flood mess.
That's right, Ses. No, it's alarming that so many personalities are resigning without really us getting into the real reasons for why we have this mess. It is sad that both with the good records, Lacson and Magalong have decided not to help out. I don't understand with Senator Lacson. He has not given much reason why he is resigning. This is the first for a Blue Ribbon chairman in the history of post-EDSA. So, it's surprising.
Walang inuurungan pa naman si Senator Lacson.
Yeah. Kaya nga, nagulat tayo dahil sa tingin ko dahil yung sinabi niya na 67 members of the House, tapos almost all members of the Senate kind of got him into the hot water. Pero sana ang recommendation ko sana tapusin niya kasi sinimulan na niya yan eh. Napakahalagang matapos at malaman talaga ng taong bayan ano nangyari.
Well, there is that observation. I believe it was Senator Drilon who had said that it could have been a king's gambit protecting the Senate president.
That's right. As I said, I think it was also in your show that I said we have a very huge minority group there. Again, first in the history of Congress to have 9 members of the minority. You just need 4 to 5. It's very easy to swing it. Ang problema yata dun sa minority, wala silang mapili kung sino mag-head. I mean, there are rumors of an Alan Cayetano or an Amy Marcos, but let's see how it turns out. And it interestingly, it is very strategic that session was suspended until October 10. So lahat ngayon ito walang outlet kasi walang plenary.
And the same Alan Cayetano who now wants everybody to resign and he's calling for snap elections.
Unbelievable, no? What will happen to government? I mean, government is a mess. Then all of a sudden, all of them will resign. So who will be the holdover? Mahirap yung suggestion na yan. Siguro, let's go through the process of what is in the Constitution. And having a snap election at this time is not good for our economy.
What about another Senate Kumalu? If we did have one today, as the rumors had it yesterday, that would be 3 in a month. What would be the implications of that to our democracy, to the Senate as an institution, and to the investigation?
Yeah, that's a good question. No? Ang Senado, very stable yan from 1987 to before the 19th Congress. Stable yan. The Senate gives the rhyme and reason to control the House for its successes, even in terms of legislation. So ngayon, itong biro mo tatlo na Senate President in a span of what? Since the opening.
Yeah.
Diba? So, nakakalungkot kasi people might say, mag-unicameral na lang tayo para hindi kayo magulo. Ang daming externalities that comes with what is happening due to this flood control mess.
Malu, going back to the Blue Ribbon Committee, sinabi naman ni Senate President Tito Soto that he's looking at 3 to 4 replacements if Senator Lacson does finalize his resignation. So in your opinion, if not Senator Lacson, who should lead the Blue Ribbon Committee?
I go back to someone with background in law. Kasi nakikita mo yung interpretation ng mga baguhan talagang kapag narinig mo para masyasyak ka, senador ba yun? Kailangan natin ng
Sino ba yung tinutukoy mo?
Mahirap magsalita, di ba? Dapat may seniority, may experience. Magaling si Senator Lacson sa investigation, pero yung nuances ng batas. Kaya first time na nangyari na bago matanong ng Senado, abay pupunta muna sa DOJ yung witness at sasalain ng DOJ. Hindi yan nangyayari sa Blue Ribbon. Ang Blue Ribbon ng Senado, mayayabang yung mga nandiyan. I mean, in the likes of Dick Gordon, sasabihin niya, no, I know what I'm doing. So itong mga nangyayari ngayon, nakakalungkot dahil hindi mo aasahin na may maririnig kang ganyan.
So wala. In other words, wala.
Ang lawyer sa kanila si Kiko Pangilinan sa majority at saka si Pia Cayetano. But these two never chiseled a career based on a Blue Ribbon chairmanship. So I don't know if they would want to accept that.
A lot were saying Risa Ontiveros before, dapat siya na lang daw instead of Senator Marcoleta. Do you think that's tied in any way with this giant campaign against her insertion/amendments, whatever you want to call it, that came out also over the weekend?
Oo, kasi grabe yung demolition. You guys could have seen how it is how the Senate is being wrapped actually. And it's sorry to see that because yung House of Representatives walang nangyayari. 'Di ba? Samantalang yung insertion nagsimula sa kanila. Nagkaroon lang ang Senado dahil nagkaroon ng BICAM. So
So are we
nakakalungkot
buying the
kasi
script of Cheese?
that
Well, may scriptwriter sa house.
well, lahat naman sila scriptwriter eh. 'Di ba? Depende lang kung sinong paniniwalaan ng tao. Pero ngayon, ang tao galit. Kaya nga sinasabi ko dun sa iba kong mga kakilala dyan, ay magtrabaho na kayo, seryosohin nyo yan. Kasi really, pag makita mo ang mga survey results, makikita mo yung galit ng tao.
But Malu, some critics can't help but notice also that political alliances, narratives are already forming as early as now, heading into the 2028 national elections. How does this influence or shape where the investigation of the Senate and also even the ICI, where is this headed to?
Well, you're right. Everything is directed towards the 2028. The problem with the administration is they still are looking for, their horse. Some are saying dark horse or whatever, no? Pero walang katapat yung constitutionally nandyan na. So, napakahirap mong tingnan sa lente na hindi yan 2028 kasi nung nag-deliver na lang si Senator Chis Escudero na andun si Vice Presidente, hindi naman sila talaga magkaibigan, pero nakinig siya at kumumay. So, yung kumalat na nag-a-apply daw for Vice President, mukha namang hindi yan katotohanan, pero ang tindi ng spin. So, dapat maging maingat ang taong bayan pag tinitingnan nito mga ganitong storya. Katulad nung kay Risa Hontiveros, maidugtong ko lang. Naglabas ng listahan. Nung una, parang dinadama si Senator Hontiveros. Ayaw mo maniwala o ito ang resibo. Ang punto ko lang doon, bakit si Risa lang ang ginaganon nyo? No? Kung gusto nyong magpakitaan ng mga resibo, dapat buo na. Para ang taong bayan nakikita, ay nako talagang may malalang nangyari na mahigit sa 1 trilyon ang nawala.
So that's also a 2028 thing with Risa.
Yes, with Risa, no? And in fairness, if you notice the way they crafted their answer, may exit si Senator Risa eh. Kasi sinasabi niya doon sa last paragraph, lahat yan dumaan sa amendments. Plenary. Oo. Yun nga yung, di ba, pinagtatalunan pa, anong insertion, anong amendment. Yung amendment dumaan sa plenaryo.
Yeah.
Ang insertion, walang third reading.
Yeah.
Di ba? Klarado yun.
Malu, dikit ko lang to sa tweet mo kahapon, no? Babasahin ko yung tweet. You said, if you received a copy of the alleged insertions by the Senate in GAA 2025, please use caution in sharing because an operation is being made to rock the Senate. You do not want to be part of it. That list is partial. Ask yourself why it is being shared. And ask why the HOR, House of Representatives, is not. Be wise. Can you give us a little bit more clarity on this?
Well, essentially, that list, there were several people who received the list. And you will be shocked because what was given is just Senator Hontiveros. So, pag nakita mo yun, talagang pinupunto si Senator Hontiveros. Bakit? Diba? Ano bang ginawa ni Senator Hontiveros kaya inaatake? Ba't hindi ilabas ang lahat? Diba? So, after nun, merong ibang enterprising na naglabas ng listahan ng mga senador kung magkano. Napakahirap yon tingnan kung hindi talaga galing sa official list. May official list naman yung both houses eh. Nasa APRO at nasa Finance. Yun nga lang, ayaw nilang ilabas.
Yes.
So kung ilalabas nila yon, mas maigi para dito sa flood control.
Because may tatamaan nga, mabubuko.
Ayun nga.
Tamaan na ng matamaan. Biro mo, 1 trillion naman yung nawala. Isus Ginoo. Hindi ko alam kung, di ba?
That's what Senator Gordon said rin.
All right, let's go to what is said to be already a fait accompli. Ombudsman Boying Remulla, incoming supposedly Boying Remulla.
Well, The reason, I mean, you know, I look at three from the seven names that were from the list that was submitted to the office of the president. There are actually three uh, who stood out in terms of the votes they got from the JBC. There's Michael Aguinaldo, whom we know served during the time of President Aquino as COA. There is Desla Ana Logan, who is very close to the First Lady and is incumbent in the Office of the Executive Secretary. And of course, Secretary Remulla. No, si Aguinaldo got 6, which is the highest.
Yeah.
I don't know if that will be a metric for the president to consider. But considering that there was an undocketing order issued by the current ombudsman, which actually swept all the issues, all the cases filed against Secretary Remulla from September 9 to 16, that actually paved the way for him to receive a clean bill of health. Now, what are the chances? Mismong kapatid na ng Pangulo nagsasabi, ito na, siya yung mahahalal. Why is it very important? Because the whoever gets to be picked will be serving the first 3 years of an ending Marcos administration. So yung mga kasong ifo-file, meron kang friendly o ally na ombudsman. Tapos ang term niya is 7 years. So yung first 3 years ng susunod na administration, kuha niya rin yon.
Okay, pero matagal na tong chismis eh. Kumbaga ngayon lang siya nagiging mainit kasi nga nagyari yung undocketing and then nasama sa shortlist si Secretary Boying Malu. Pero that narrative has been around for a while. That as soon as Martires retired, everyone was saying Boying Malu is going to get it. So do you also think that he's sure to get it now? And like how does this tie into 2028? Because that original narrative goes all the way to 2028.
Well, I think he will be picked by the president. Unless, you know, ang problema lang dan, they have to be quite conscious of the impact of such a pick to the anger of the public. Kasi mas lalong magagalit ang taong bayan na, ba't naman ito pa? Pwede mo naman kunin yung iba. I mean, there's a very good guy, si Sandigan Bayan Associate Justice Michael Musni. He is already in the system eh. So alam niya kung Sandigan Bayan, sa ombudsman ka, alam niya kung paano aayusin yung mga problema sa ombudsman. So yung galit ng taong bayan at i-appoint mo si Secretary Remulla, baka maging double whammy yun sa administration. Baka lalong mas magalit. Imbis na kumalma at meron tayong protector.
Why? When he hasn't been involved and he has been actually saying the right things, he's been vetting the witnesses from the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee, why do you think there will be a backlash? What does
si Boying Remulla represents the administration. He was there. He was the SOJ when former President Duterte was shipped to The Hague, and he justified everything as being legal. So that's one. Secondly, what happened to his son? Third, Remulla name in Cavite is not lily white. So when you look at things, you need an ombudsman who can do the job and without much political baggage. So either Michael Aguinaldo, who appears to be a technocrat, and this Desla Ana Logan might probably be in contention if they check the pulse of the public in terms of getting Secretary Remulla as ombudsman.
All right.
We'll see what happens.
We'll see. Abangan. We thank you so much.
Thank you.
Manutikia, political strategist, thank you for joining us again on The Big Story.
Now, in other news, remote areas in Cebu are still struggling to receive assistance as the province reels from the impact of the September 30 earthquake. In the island village of Gibitngil in Medellin town, frontliners have to brave strong waves to reach affected families. Victims' houses were severely damaged, with some are relying on tents for shelter. At least 71 individuals died during the magnitude 6.9 tremor, as per the latest tally of the NDRRMC. More than 6,000 aftershocks were also recorded. Right now, residents are still asking for more aid.
Kailangan namin ma-repair namin yung bahay, sir. Sa mga senador dyan sa Malacanang, tulungan nyo kami dito. Wala kayong pera. Kasi wala kaming pera sa ngayon.
Meantime, Pope Leo XIV has offered prayers for Cebu quake victims. The pontiff expressed solidarity with Filipinos after a mass at St. Peter's Square. He first extended condolences through the papal nuncio on October 2nd. CBCP News said Pope Leo, former Augustinian Superior General, has visited Cebu 5 times.
Nella sera di martedì 30 settembre un forte sisma ha colpito la regione centrale delle Filippine, in particolare la provincia di Cebu e le province limitrofe. Esprimo la mia vicinanza al caro popolo filippino e in particolare prego per coloro che sono più duramente provati dalle conseguenze del terremoto. Di martedì 30 settembre un forte sisma ha colpito la regione centrale delle Filippine.
On a much lighter note, in sports, the PBA marks half a century of Philippine basketball history with a grand anniversary celebration. The highlights of that grand event from mobile journalist Denise Valdesancho.
A golden celebration for a golden league. PBA legends and today's stars were united for the PBA 50 Fellowship Night last Saturday, October 4 at the Meralco Theater in Pasig. It was a night of nostalgia and emotion, with many former stars looking back on their journey inside the league. Four-time PBA MVP Alvin Patrimonio couldn't hide his emotions, sharing that he still misses the game.
Very emotional. Thank you sa lahat. 50 years. Of basketball and life. Talagang ganda yung moment na to. PBA kasi, dun tayo start. I'm very great. Honored and blessed to be a part of PBA at 50.
The night also served as a reunion for many, one of which is the iconic Santa Lucia Realtors. Present in the homecoming are former teammates Marlo Aquino and Kelly Williams.
Kausap ko lang si Kelly Williams. Alos nagkasabay kami until now, naglalaro pa rin siya. So, masaya na makita yung mga dating kasamahan din, mga dating kalaro din.
Meanwhile, San Miguel legend Hector Calma shared his hopes for the future of the league.
Well, I think more teams that are... We should have more teams to enter the PBA. Right now, it's more, yung mga, they're faster, bigger players, but it's before, we can have a king of players. It is good for the league.
Also in attendance was sports patron Manny V. Pangilinan, who lauded the PBA for reaching its 50th year and expressed optimism that the season's changes would heighten competitiveness.
Well, to begin with, congratulations to the PBA on their 50th year. That's a great achievement that have lasted this long and made a permanent mark on Philippine basketball and lifted Philippine basketball to higher and higher level. We're inviting everybody to watch the games of the 50th year of the PBA, and I think it'll be more exciting. I think the teams will be more even in strength and in competitive spirit this year as it was last year. I think more so this year.
Capping off the celebration were show-stopping performances from Gary Valenciano, between Escalante, Martin Rivera, and Bitoy with the drivers. During the program, PBA Hall of Fame members were honored, while the league's 50 greatest players received special recognition to mark the historic milestone. Mobile journalist Denise Valdesancho. We are One News.
Wow, so much nostalgia in that celebration.
50 years na pala yung PBA.
Diba?
Pero yung nahanap ko si Jowo.
Si Jowo.
Si Jowo.
The big J.
Diba?
Actually, that was, yun yung hinahabol-habol ng mom ko when we would watch live games before.
Oh? How old were you then?
Siguro below 10. Diyan sa Ultra. Ultra pa ba tawag sa Ultra?
Hindi na, Philippine, ano na. Iba
Phil
na.
Sports
Phil
Arena,
Sports
di ba? lumalabas.
All right, and that will do it for us on The Big Story this Monday. Thank you so much for watching.
We are One News, all sides, all the time.
We'll be back here tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. See you then. Have a good night, everyone.
And if you want more sports, coming up next is Play-by-Play with Andre Felix and Denise Tan tonight. Hi guys, what more do you have for us?
Good evening, good evening. Alam nyo, hindi, kwento ko lang dahil pinag-uusapan na nila Denise yung PBA. Kagabi, so Pawi was there, was working, nandun ako. Sabi ko, naramdaman ko na yung edad ko. Alam niyo kung bakit session? No, kasi dati-rate, pinapanood ko, kasama ko daddy ko, Jojo Lastimosa, Johnny Abarientos.
Yes,
ngayon ang pinapanood ko na si RJ Abarientos at si Jerome Lastimosa. Tapos
Mga
yung
anak na.
Ha?
Anak?
Anak.
Ah,
The next generation.
Pamangkin. Parehong pamangkin. Tapos yung kabatch ko, kaklase ko sa Ateneo, si L.A. Tenorio, head coach na!
I know.
Sabi ko, naku, patay tayo.
Ako, I was gonna say, naramdaman ko yung edad ko. Don't worry, Sean. Inabutan ko Ultra ang tawag sa Philsport.
Thank you.
Ultra.
I used to play there. It was called Ultra.
Tama, Ultra.
Ultra, UL, di ba? Yun ang tawag.
Please, wag nang pag-usapan ng edad.
Sige guys, kunin nyo na. Alam ko marami nagyari this weekend sa mundo ng sport.
Thank you so much once again. Happy Monday to the ladies of The Big Story. Okay, what a weekend that was in sports, Denise. We've got a recap of rivalry weekend, including Manila Clasico between Magnolia and Barangay Ginebra in the PBA, plus Ateneo and LaSalle in UAAP basketball.
And we've also got a new world record thanks to a Filipino weightlifter.
I'm Andre Felix.
And I'm Denise Tan, sitting in for Jessica Liton-Calao.
And here's tonight's play-by-play.
Ramiro